The letter is written and then give report 20th January. I don't know if the letter did come, the report, but 22nd of January, Mary de Haas writes the letter to the National Commissioner and moves, asking him, have you done
General,
what...
Sorry, Honourable Chair, can I just point out to honourable members that there is a small, there's a little bundle with two documents attached. The Mary de Haas letter of 22 January 2025, page 1 to 2, and then there's an article on political killings, political interference, which is written by a Christine, but quotes extensively Professor de Haas. Have you got that, General? That's the letter you're referring to.
Yes, I do have that letter. National Commissioner Self-Lieutenant General Masimula pre-email good. That is 22nd January 2025. The headline says, your failure to follow ministerial instruction and disband the political killing team is impacting negatively on the crucial policing work in KwaZulu-Natal. So that is a letter which I think paragraph 3 says, according to a report I have just received. I don't know you received this report from who? Mary de Haas. From concerned police or from concerned members, detectives in KZN cannot take exhibits to Pretoria laboratory because there are no funds to travel. The funds allegedly having been diverted to the political killing team, leaving crucial evidence, e.g. drugs, firearm, DNA, and cell phones in the province contaminated. 4. In other words, if these allegations are true, the Provincial Commission KZN is complicit in ignoring instructions given by the Minister and obstructing regular policing activities in KwaZulu-Natal. Please investigate and report to the Minister and Parliament immediately. Immediately.
For 4 decades, Professor Mary de Haas has been described as a violent monitor. But what if her real influence hasn't been in stopping that violence, that very violence she monitored? What if it's been in shaping the narrative that keeps South Africa unstable? What if? Okay? So in 2024, Mary de Haas wrote to the new Minister of Police, Senzo Mchunu, the embattled Minister of Police, is on suspension, demanding the political killing task team to be disbanded. She accused the former Minister of Police, Bheki Cele, and the General Dumisani Khumalo, who is the head of crime intelligence, of running this rogue operation. Accuse these two people of running a rogue operation. But her timing was very suspicious because that was exactly when the PKTT, means Political Killing Task Team, was closing in on the Big Five. The Big Five are 5 individuals in a cartel. 2 of them have been publicly named. That is Vusi Musi, Kat Matlala, and Katiso Molefe, known as KT Molefe. The shadow network funding assassinations across KwaZulu-Natal, KZN. Those arrests were happening. So we now know from testimony at Madlanga Commission for witnesses who have been publicly named, who are testifying remotely due to the fear of their lives, who are living away from their families because there's a hitman on them. These brave police officers, these brave investigators uncover this network. So why call for the team's destruction then and now? That is the question. So if you spend a whole life presenting yourself as this person who's anti-violence, working collaboratives with these NGOs, networks of NGOs. You know how I feel about NGOs because I've discovered some very problematic trends about NGO and foundations that they will claim that they're doing something good to the society, but that is the cover up. It's a cover up for covert operation that is meant to destabilize that country. That's what they do. All right. So here's a testimony. We now have two of the individuals of the three big five cartels that have been creating havoc in the communities. Now you claim that this team was ineffective. So, and you have a profile of yourself working hard for anti-violence. This is strange. Really, this is strange, people. Very strange.
Immediately.
So you were saying you were somehow suggesting that there's a whole confluence, a whole getting together of factors in January 2025, immediately shortly after the directive of 31 December 2025, which you found quite.
It does look like there was something about January. I don't know what is it. But my take with all this process, Chairperson, it starts with Mary writing the letter on October. And I find some similarities of the content of the letter, because this immediately is also there in that letter.
That letter is on pages 51 through to 58.
That is October. So then there is a discussion of a certain stain on his written opinion piece, if it is opinion piece. Very excited to say the minister or the professor has instructed the national commissioner to disband. And 31st January happens, 21st December happens. And January, Mary, who wrote in October, comes back now, not to the minister now, to the national commissioner. The report must come on the 20th. Mary is very close to understanding whether the report has come on the 20th. But 22nd, we are bad. She's asking if that has been done. So it's my take, my genesis of my problem with this is Mary having played quite a big role. I must admit, the Khwana's allegation at the later stage of cartels and all that, I don't understand that much until I hear from Khwana's and what is happening. But my take is that I've seen Mary driving this process of disestablishment of this. I don't know what is her interest. Maybe it does link with the later one. I don't know. So people can check. But also, I find that January has something to do with the disestablishment.
So De Haas is often presented as independent. Yet, for decades, she's been linked to powerful NGO, like I said, and media circles that thrives on stories of state failure. All right? She supplies data but never reveals her sources. And the data that she uses are not data from official sources like your sub sources. So, this stuff of her violence monitor reports often surface just as policing gaining traction. All right, raising a question few dare to ask. Few people haven't asked question, and I'm gonna ask this question. Is Mary de Haas activism a form of psychological warfare? I repeat the question. Is Mary de Haas activism in South Africa a form of psychological warfare? Soft power destabilisation, designed to erode public confidence in South Africa's security institutions. Just a question. At the moment, it's a question. All right? And you need to think about it very deep to answer this question.
Right. That's my take on this process, essay.
Yeah, but we also see that in a subsequent letter. Some suggestions. In fact, we also, I think I've faked. Excuse me, Minister. It it's the same. It's the same. If you go to page 60, go to BC 7, General. Which is on page 65.
Page 65.
To 70.
Right, yes.
Yeah. Where she makes, if you go to the bottom, well, the document which appeared in the KZN Monitor, it starts off with reference to the 31 December 2024 Minister Mchunu's directive, and then she says a few lines in, it seems though that the ministerial instructions are not being followed, as certain apparently specifically selected members have not been redeployed to the units from which they were seconded, and that at least one new case has been opened by one of these members. Information has been forwarded to the minister's office. So it seems as if she's privy to information that's been forwarded to the minister's office.
Yes,
in the last paragraph, she said there was no good reason for establishing this team in the first place. You see that? And then on page 66, the second paragraph, contrary to constitutional principles of transparency and accountability in government, questions about the structure and command of the team have never been answered. Would you agree with that statement?
Which one is that, yes?
So,
Which
General,
statement is that?
at page 66, the second paragraph, the first few lines, where she says that questions about the structure and command of the team have never been answered.
Yes, I
And then she refers to you. She says, when soon after it started operating, questions were posed to team members about who was in charge. The response was that it was then Minister Cele. When the Police Portfolio Committee was asked about it, the late Jumat Peterson claimed not to know about what was happening. However, she agreed that the minister should not be operational. Despite ongoing complaints, no interventions to remedy matters followed. When the team was initially established, a detective was in charge, but even at that stage, members were coming and going. When the detective retired, then Brigadier Khumalo was put in charge by Cele.
Well, I met Khumalo when the team was established.
2018.
2018. I didn't know him before that. He's one. He was a brigadier. Very few. I think Mkhonas was a brigadier, and among the brigadiers, I would know him and maybe those that were in communication. But brigadiers are quite far to know them all. So Khumalo, I didn't know him. That's the first one. The second one, SC. Ministers of police are just unlucky. They appoint nobody. They appoint nobody. Even the national commissioners, they don't appoint them. The president does. And then the commissioners appoint the structure as per the constitution of command and control. So there is no minister. If I have any
we discussed this, but in terms of the Police Act, the minister appoints the head of the Hawks.
Yeah, that's the only person,
but
according
no
to the
other
law.
appointments
It's the only person that you appoint, yes. So that is the Hawks. But when it comes to the South African Police Service and all that, that is so Cele could not then have been appointed Khumalo. Even if Cele wanted to appoint Khumalo, had to explain to the rest of the ministers that were part of the interministerial what is this. So the issue of Khumalo, knowing him, whether it's investigator, whether it's in crime situation or crime intelligence, really I wouldn't know. This is a researcher talking. So she can't just research that ministers don't appoint an accomplished researcher. She can't research that and know that ministers don't appoint when it comes to police. So
ministers don't appoint commissioners. The president does. That was Bheki Cele's blunt response when she accused him of handpicking General Khumalo. He reminded the parliament that appointments follow constitutional authority, not the whims of one minister. And I looked this up, 100% true. Whatever you think of Bheki Cele, his statement exposed how Mary de Haas's narrative blurs legal fact and political spin. What she's been doing, really, in my personal opinion, she's been doing political spin. That's what she's been doing here. On a behalf of a covert operation that at this stage we're still looking into it to see what this is all about, this covert operation she's engaged in. So if this PKTT was corrupt as she claimed, the evidence of that corruption should have gone to the Hawks or IPIT, but she didn't do that. She went to the media. She bypassed formal oversight and amplified, she really, by doing so, amplified allegations that could fracture trust in law enforcement. Like in the last video that I said before this one, the one about Paul Silverman, the whole thing of all of them is to fracture trust in law enforcement. Meanwhile, organized crime rejoiced and celebrates on WhatsApp. And we saw that celebration on WhatsApp emojis, didn't we, at Madlanga Commission? Yes, so destabilization doesn't always wear a uniform, wear a hat or a badge, shoulder, medals. Sometimes it hides behind a university title, as we've seen, university title, a professional accreditation, a professional title, or a moral vocabulary. All right? So, this is what you need to understand. So, South Africa stands at a crossroads. If the big five networks collapse, we may finally expose the machinery that fuels the political assassination, that fuels violence in South Africa. But if the PKTT is silenced, if the public lose faith in every institution that fights back, then the real victory belongs to those who want to weaken, divide, and make South Africa ungovernable. So that is the mission here. The mission is to weaken, divide, make South Africa ungovernable. So when the next activist expert, tells you that the police must be dismantled, ask who benefits when chaos becomes the only story to tell. This is Justice Unmuted.